So to create a table, what we're going to do is type in Rails generate migration create users. Okay, looks like we have a bit of a problem here. All right, so you will get this from time to time when you navigate between the apps. So just follow the directions here and type in bundle install. Okay, let's try that again. Rails generate migration create users. All right, great. Look at what it did. It created this migration file. Okay, now where's this migration file? It's right here under DB folder, this migrate. There is the create users. Okay, so it basically created a table. It's going to create a table users. It's given us some code here already. All we're going to do here is add in string for username and email. Okay, so we want a table users which will have username and email. All right, so and I also want timestamps. Timestamps basically gives you two fields, and they're called created at and updated at, and Rails tracks that for you. So you have if you ever need to refer to when something was created or when it was updated, timestamps is a very good way to, get that information. So I always by default create timestamps. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and save this. That should be good. So to create this table now, go ahead and type in rake db migrate. And it's saying create users migrating. So the table just got created. Now, if we look at our schema, the schema.rb file, these were the tables that you had already, which was articles and then comments. And then right here, this just got created. So you got users, username, email, and the two fields that timestamps gave us, which is created at and updated at. Okay, great. So now, to communicate with this database, we need to create a model. Okay, so since we created a users table, which is all lowercase, the associated model would be uppercase U, singular, user. So it would be user table, and the U would be uppercase, right? So that would be the class name. So let's go ahead and create the model. So you would go to app, then models. So you already have the article and the comment model. So here, right click, and then new file. You're going to name it singular, so user.rb. And then class uppercase U, user, subclass from active record base, all model subclass from active record base. And then, believe it or not, that is it. The model's set up, the database is set up, the database table is set up. So let's go ahead and check out if everything is linked correctly. So do that, type in Rails console. I'm going to increase this a little bit here. And then when you're in the Rails console, if you want to clear up all this clutter, if you're at the bottom, just do Control L and that clears it up. Okay, so to test out the connection basically with the model and the database table, just type in user is the one we created, so we're going to refer to it as user, which is the model name .all. We see it's working. Now to test that out again, just type in user and then it'll say the username, the email, created at, updated at. Now this ID gets generated automatically, and that's the primary key of your table. Primary key is unique on each database table, okay? So when you create, this is something you will never have to do. Rails will do it automatically for you, and all of the tables, each row will have a unique primary key. All right, so now we have a user set up. Let's go ahead and create a user, okay? So user.create. Well, where am I coming up with this method from, create? So if you go Google and type in active record associations and methods, then you'll come to this page. And here you will see that whenever you create an association or whenever you create a model and have a database table tied to it, it'll give you some default methods which you can refer to. So you have all these methods. I would recommend just going through them, but for now a few of them that we need to remember are create. So to create a user, you can do user.create, which would mass assign and create the user, or you could do user.new, but if you did new, it wouldn't automatically save to the database. You would actually have to do first you would do user.new, and then you would type in the username and then email, and then at the end of it, you'd have to do user.save, but we'll see it later. So first do user.create, username, Bob, and then email, okay. Now we see that this got created successfully. Now if you go user equals user dot first, it selected Bob. Now user dot, if you just want Bob's username, so you can go user dot username, it gives you Bob. You can get email there. So now let's go ahead and create another user. Okay, user dot create, let's say username John and email john at example.com. Okay, so now we have two users. Let's go ahead and create another one. Username Joe, and then email joe at example.com. Okay, all right, so now we have three users. Now if you want to see all the users, you can do something like this, user.all, and it picks up all of your users. So you have the first one. Now it picks up all of the user objects. Now what is a user object? In the user table, you have a lot of, each row is a user basically. And each user is wrapped and is basically an object, is wrapped around by active record object. All right. So here you're getting all of those objects returned to you. So you have the first user, then you have the second user, and you have the third user, all of them. And they're basically getting displayed to you when you do user.all. It's picking up all of the rows from your user table. Okay? All right. So you can do many things here. You can just create a variable user and then assign it to some user. Let's say user.find by ID. Let's say ID is let's try something harder. Find by email, okay? And then joe@example.com. And it returns the entire row for you. So it goes to the table, finds the row that has the email joe@example.com, and then it returns the entire row as an object and returns it to you and is assigned to this local variable that's called user. So now if I just type in user, it returns the user object. Now if I want to refer to the username, for example, I can just do user.username. Okay. All right, great. So now I want to associate this user, and I want to associate the user model with the article model. And I want to say that a user has many articles and an article belongs to a user. How do we do that? So if you come here to the user model, I'm going to decrease the size of this right now. Okay. All I have to do to set that up is has many articles. Now, since it has many, it has to be articles, plural. Okay, again, this is Rails convention, so just bear with me. Has many articles. And then what do you need? Let me go ahead and save this. So in the article model, you're going to type in belongs to and then user. Now this has to be singular. Why is that? Because each article belongs to one user. Okay, so that's why belongs to, and you're going to have user, but has many will have the plural version. So belongs to will have the singular version, and then has many will have the plural version. Okay, so now do we have enough to have the association going? Probably not. Let me exit out of here, and I'll give you a second to think about why we don't have enough information here to make that association.